So, good afternoon. I'm just doing this little video today, and this little video today is about who are we? We can pretty much feel very lost, we can feel very lonely, and we can not know who the hell we are when everything is shut down inside of us. We have that off switch to our emotions. We have the off switch to who we are. We have this mask that we wear for the outside world, and we is the royal we. We have this conditioning, these expectations that we carry within ourselves, and when it really comes to close to finding out who we are, it means removing a lot of this. And then how do we do that? How do we even begin to get there? So I'm just going to share with you ways in which I myself personally have got there. A lot of coaches, a lot of well-being groups, they talk about, it's all about the self-love, the self-care. You've really got to love yourself. You've got to love yourself. And we can tell ourselves we love ourselves. But what does it really mean to love yourself if you don't even know who yourself is? So as an ancestral healer, and this is a tag that came along, a lot of people call themselves different things, and it just came up. I thought, I'm working with my ancestors. I don't know where that even come from when I think back, but I knew that I had this subconscious knowing that I was working with my ancestors, and so I thought, I'm using their energies, so I'm going to call myself an ancestral healer. This lockdown has taken me into exactly what that means, and it has led me to who I am. And so I'm going to just impart what I found within this, how I got to who I am. And so in many, many other countries, they really hold their ancestors in high regard. They hold those that have passed, near present time, going all the way back to the very beginning in high regard. These are the elders that are with them, that bring them knowledge. In African spirituality, you reincarnate as the ancestors. So it's really important to get to know who you are from where you came from. And also because who you are will be who your great-grandkids will be. And it's all a big web and process. We hear the word karma a lot. Now I'm going to tie this into who we are and where we come from, and how important it is to focus on coming back to yourself. It's to focus on those that were there before us. So, this is a deep one. So, I'm going to go by my own personal experiences because that's all I know. But for me, who I am, my parents, I don't know, I've met one grandparent. I never met any of the others. There's a lot of family members I've not met because they live Central South America, and I've just not got there. And it wasn't until we went into lockdown at the beginning, and I had this real big interest to know where I came from. I wanted to know this information, and I started messaging certain family members and asking them. This is when I found out my great nan was a healer, and as soon as I found that out, whoa, the release. I finally felt like I belonged. But also, as the journey took me deeper, it didn't also take me deeper into the outside of culture where I was from. But it took me deeper into the karma that my ancestors was carrying, the good and the bad. The science has proven we can carry diseases, we can carry trauma from what our ancestors hold, and this is something we carry. So on top of whatever else we're dealing with in this lifetime, we're also carrying the trauma of those pasts. And ancestral, the word ancestral has a very indigenous feel to it. I know some people don't feel like they're part of that, but we are all indigenous. You don't have to be a person of colour to be indigenous. We are all indigenous. We come from the birthplace of Africa and spread out into the world. So we are all indigenous. You know, whether you're from Eastern Europe or whether you're from China, Asia, you know, there is some indigenous roots there. If you go way back, you would have had a tribal, primitive, shamanic root that would have carried your ancestors to where you are today. And so by us connecting with this energy, connecting with our ancestors, by acknowledging their existence, acknowledging the pain they went through, acknowledging the trauma that they may have suffered, acknowledging, just by looking back, you might be able to pick up on the ancestors that you know, on the past loved ones. You might be able to pick up on patterns that are working through the family. And we can take it to heal those patterns within ourselves and heal the patterns for them. There is this continuous existence, as above, so below, that we always feel that whatever's out there is there to help us, but we are also there to help whatever is out there. It works like that. It's one and the same. We are here as a consciousness together, and it's held by this energy of love, always forever evolving. And so this is why ancestry is so important, and it's so important to finding out who we are, because not only does it connect us to the land, which, you know, through mythology, or you look back, we thought primitive people, oh, they didn't know how to write, they're primitive. Oh no, they didn't know how to write, but they didn't need to. They are in touch with Mother Earth. They are in touch with Father Sky. And they were in touch with each other. There was that connection. They knew who they were. They knew that they were a part of the land, the sea, the air, the fire around them. They knew that these things around them can be found within them. And so they loved the planet that they were on, and they didn't take it for granted. They didn't abuse it. We are so intricately connected to everything, you know. You can see that the planet has a virus at the moment. We are that virus to the planet, you know. It is going to play out like that. Every action has a reaction. And so finding out who we are is not so as important just for ourselves, but it's important for how we move forward, how we evolve, how we learn from the ancient ones, and how to sustain life abundantly, how to diffuse and rid the world of this fear parasite that takes us over. And it sounds so major and it sounds so big, but something as small as starting to find out who you are. And I found a lot of my ancestry just through connecting, through meditation, you know. I've had information come to me, found out I've got Native American ancestry this way. You know, ancestry all across the board. But by finding this out, we find this connection that we're lacking. We find this connection that we're lacking from the ancient ones, for the ones that held this wisdom, held this knowledge. The saying, you know, it takes a village to raise a child. We're lacking that right now. It really does. Do we respect our elders? Do we go to them for the wisdom that they may hold? There is such a disconnection out there, and because of that disconnection, we have that disconnection with ourselves. You know, the saying, no man is an island, is so true. And so connection is a word that's used a lot, but it's so very important to connect to this planet, to connect to the universe, to connect to our ancestors, to connect to the people around us and connect to our hearts. It all leads to that place. And so I hope this message is well received, but this is where I'm at. I'm coming back to my heart. Mother Earth, you know, without her nurturing embrace, her unconditional love this planet gives to us, she gives to us with abundance. I think we're forgetting that the planet will never be destroyed. What will be destroyed will be us first. And if we carry on blocking these energies and blocking these emotions and allowing fear to take over, that fear to love, not just love ourselves, but love others, it's really, you know, going to have an effect. And we're seeing that. At the moment, we're seeing a shake-up of things. We're seeing it being shaken up. And the time has come. The time has come to take them layers away. Find out who you are. Because you know what? You're a being of love. No one comes to this earth to do bad things. We come to this earth and then there is lost people that show us the way, and we become lost people who show other lost people the way. But really we should be the change we want to see, right? And in my little home, you know, I can only be honest. I'm talking so nice and calmly and lovely like this. And then I could be shouting, you know, like that, snap, with my children. But I'm very honest with myself when I'm in that emotion. Where did that come from? Okay, that come from a pattern, that come from frustration. I can go to my child and say, I'm really sorry, you know. Perfect example at the moment. Well, not at the moment because we got past it, but was doing homeschooling. God, did that trigger me? Homeschooling, did it trigger me completely? It made me feel so stupid. It made me feel so thick. It took me back to being in school, feeling worthless, and I was taking that frustration out on my son, and then he was getting stressed, and it was just building up. And then I started doing some meditations with him in the evening, like instead of a bedtime story. And so we'd go and do these meditations, and I gave him one, and he came across his spirit animal, and he come out of it and he was like, oh, I love that mum, why, I want to be in that world all the time. And he turned to me and he said, can I tell you something? He says, I am finding it really hard, and I don't like it when you get stressed at me. And from that moment on, I knew I had to look at why I was getting stressed. So I was honest. I messaged the teacher the next day and I said, you know what, I've got ADD. I can never remember anything. Adverb, verb. I can learn it and it will go straight out of my head, like simple little things like this. It's a gift to not have a memory, by the way, I've got there. But I said, it's really triggering things in me, and, you know, I'm finding it really hard. So it's not like we're being lazy with this, you know, we're going through something. I was able to have that with him. I got up every morning, cooked him porridge, give him a cup of tea, made sure he had that nurturing love before he started. Tried to start his day good so he wasn't getting up every morning with fear. I don't know, the whole vibration, it's all about the vibration and the energy. The whole energy changed. It changed so much in the home that he doesn't come to us for help anymore. He has that confidence within himself and he gets on and he does it. And that's an example that fear can block us from a lot of things. We already are the perfect beings. Everything we want is already there. It's our fears that can block it. And so this is why Ancestry is so important, because coming back to yourself allows beauty to expand in your life. It allows love to come into your heart. Like mine's chipping away. You know, the love is expanding. It's expanding through my connection with nature. It's expanding through my connection with spirit. And it's mostly expanding through my connection with the spirit within myself or around myself. You know, this is a vessel. Don't let your past actions, don't let the things that have defined you until now make you think that it defines you to who you are. You are so much more than that. And so being an ancestral healer, this is what I love. Because I am able to work with people. I am able to guide them. I can do a meditation and guide you to clarity, inner moments that make you reflect and think, all right, that's why I'm like that. Or, right, I feel love. I feel it so strongly. I know something else is out there. Our ancestors are out there just begging to be acknowledged, because we can do so much for them, we can do so much for the planet, we do so much for ourselves. And so I hope that you've taken, been able to receive what I'm saying, and you know, it's not that you need to know who your ancestors are. I don't have a lot of names, I don't know a lot, but it's really weird, the signs start coming through. You might have something pop up all the time, a certain country, and it's like, right, I'm going to research this. It's like as much as voodoo's come up, you know, voodoo, the most beautiful, beautiful spiritual practice that has been demonized by the colonizers, and it's so beautiful. It's led me back to myself, it's led me back to nature, it's brought me an understanding, and it's put me really in connection with my ancestors. So we need to wipe that fear. You know, every now and then I still get scared as certain little things happen. We need to wipe that fear, because just beyond it is this magnificent, heartwarming love that leads us back to ourselves and who we are. And it leads us to show that love onto the planet and make the changes that need to be made. So thank you very much for listening, and have a really good day.